On today's show, the Batman is a private dick. We have a new casting for the Dune movie. And
It's Bad Boys 3! It's Bad Boys for Life! It's gonna happen! Look at him, the real!
movie talk starts right now. It's the most excited intro we've ever had. And it's all because of this young man. The birthday boy yesterday, everybody.
Yeah.
Joshua Hercules Makuga.
Hey, everybody.
What a present you got. I did want to get your quick take on Bad Boys 3, the picture you saw. I mean, this has got to be a special day for you.
I would like to think that like around 150 people tagged me on Instagram and that, and on Twitter. And I can't say that picture isn't the greatest picture since my wedding day, but it might be, Mark. It might just be.
And I will point out that's a wedding that included many Bad Boys lyrics and lines and things of that nature in the actual wedding vows. That's how much it means to this little guy. Hey, Josh, where are you going to be Friday night?
We're going to be in Arizona, Pub Rock Live. Ken Knapsack, myself, and Mark Ellis, 9 p.m. Be there.
Thank you, Josh. We love you to death. Happy birthday, buddy. Very excited about Bad Boys. I'm very excited about Arizona this Friday at Pub Rock, like Josh said, 9 p.m. So if you bought tickets for one show or the other one, don't worry. It's all one big show. It's a little later than the early start time. It's a little earlier than the late start time. It's one show. You probably just got an email about it, 9 p.m. Some things are out of my control. Sorry if you got to alter your babysitting plans. The show starts at 9. The doors open at 8. Very excited to be in Arizona this weekend. And without further ado, let's bring on the talent onto this show. That is John Steven Rocha. Over there is Haleigh Foutch. One of them just moved. The other one, and I have been making fun of the one that just moved, but we're finally done. You're finally done getting in. You're settled.
Tonight is the final night.
He's been saying that for a week. Haleigh.
I've been moving for 30 days straight. It's the most insane experience of my lifetime. I had no idea how much stuff I had and how much stuff I had to get rid of and how much stuff my girlfriend had, but hey, we're almost done. Tonight is the end of it all. Thank God. I'll never say it again.
Haleigh, you have any plans to move in the near future, or has Rocha's experience altered what you had planned?
Every life experience with moving has convinced me to never do it again.
I had a very quiet move. I got in and out in a week. I think it took me about 5 days, and I'm totally settled. 5 days is a long time for some people.
You're like De Niro in Heat. You're like, I got to move it within 5 minutes. If I can't move it in 5 minutes, I can't have it in my life.
Well, if you do have plans to move in 2021, you may want to make sure that you're not doing it in the spring or summertime, because you may miss the premiere of The Batman. That's one of the many scoops that Matt Reeves kind of dropped and teased us with when he was speaking a couple days ago. Now, look, the big thing is that the movie may come out 2020. We don't know. We are pretty sure it's not going to be called The Batman. He said The Batman is a working title. Maybe it sticks with that. Maybe it's something else. But here's the big news, is what the synopsis is. It's that Batman is going back to his roots. That's right. Bruce Wayne, I'm sorry, didn't mean to say your real name. Batman is the world's greatest detective. That's how he's always been known in the comics. And as Matt Reeves pointed out in a quote, that the movies haven't necessarily focused in on his detective skills. He's better than Sherlock Holmes. He's better. I don't care if it's Downey playing him or Will Ferrell. Batman is better. So now Batman is actually going to get to be a detective and be on the trail of not one, but multiple villains. Reeves also was quoted as saying that it's going to be a rogues gallery of villains. He's going to do one more pass of the script, and then they're going to start doing some casting for these villains and possibly for the Batman himself. John Rocha.
Yeah.
The Batman as a detective is something that I'm a huge fan of hearing.
Yes.
I still don't know who's playing Batman. I still don't know who I want to see play Batman. I know I want this movie before 2021 because I'm a Batman fan. As a Batman fan, is the detective route the right way to go?
Yes, and it's about time we went this route, because this had been rumors for numerous other directors that they were going to take Batman in the detective route, and they never did. They went for the spectacle and the fighting with the Joker and all that kind of stuff, or Ra's al Ghul or Bane, but they never went with like the simple point of following a mystery, figuring it out. These comments are interesting comments because this idea of a rogues gallery, this idea of a mystery, of a detective. I think Matt Reeves is going to get his way. You got to make it stand out in some way from what we've seen before. And Hush now comes into my mind. The Long Halloween comes into my mind. Both are based on detective stories with multiple rogues gallery villains involved in them. So that's a possibility here. Plus, you get a little romance with Catwoman and Batman in Hush, so that could be factored into this situation as well to give him a little more character or storylines to pursue. Normally, I would be afraid of this idea of bringing in multiple villains, but for some stupid reason, I have a belief that Matt Reeves is going to get this thing right and do it well, because I enjoy that Planet of the Apes trilogy. I know he did two out of three of them. So I'm excited to see what he can do with this Batman thing. Dark, gritty, moving, taking advantage of the silences. That's what I want to see, and I like everything he had to say here.
Well, Haleigh, Rocha hit on a line in what Matt Reeves' interview with The Hollywood Reporter is that people are running with this, oh, now we're getting multiple villains. Do you think that that's the right way to go for a new semi-rebooted Batman? Do you think you should just stick to one or multiple? I mean, the guy's a detective. He's on the trail of now, it looks like, multiple villains.
Yeah, I also had the same titles you mentioned, Hush and The Long Halloween sort of conjured to mind, and I love those stories, so I think that would be a nice change. I think most of us get a little wary when we hear multiple villains because that often doesn't work out so well, but it's a nice change because we have seen him fight the Joker, we have seen him fight Bane, and all these same, single square-offs. I think Matt Reeves can pull it off, and I think it's an interesting, different angle that we haven't seen before. He's said the noir stuff before, so that's definitely seems to be like the major through line of whatever creative process this has been, and that's pretty exciting to me. I think that, that's just a perfect fit for Gotham City. It's perfect.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit for where they want to go with this entire DC universe, to be honest with you. Whatever you want to call it, if this Batman is going to somehow factor into what we've already seen with movies like Wonder Woman, movies like Aquaman, movies like Justice League, I just don't know. After hearing this news, Haleigh, do you think that it's a smart play to try to get this Batman somewhere into that timeline? Or do you think that you just start fresh and you take this in a totally new direction in a totally new universe?
Right now, I'm super into the self-contained movies. It's sort of like we were talking about the other day with the new monster movies, like just lean into a good idea and focus on that for a while. And I think that, we saw it with Aquaman, you can kind of have it both ways. He is a part of that bigger universe, but it was a very focused story, and it was, very much James Wan's film. So if it's going to be balanced like that, then sure, connect them. Why not? But just don't put that cart in front of that horse again.
Yeah, Rocha, we know that a Batman movie is going to make money at the box office, particularly if you get the casting right. It could make $1 billion. Another movie that recently made $1 billion is Aquaman. So do you think that Warner Brothers is now itching to get back to connecting their movies so that other films can be tied to this incredible achievement in Aquaman? Maybe the same thing for Shazam, but it's a long time before we see this Batman. So which route are they going to go?
I think it would be such a mistake to do that at this point because you're just barely building this goodwill back up, not just with the fans, but also with people who are not necessarily the hardcore DC fans who want to come and enjoy your movie. So do this. Make the illusion the occasional, right? Steppenwolf was mentioned once. That's it in Aquaman. Already we've seen in Shazam allusions to Batman and Superman opening the the drawer in the book of the shelf of drawers. That is cool. That's enough. That's all you need to see. I think the same thing with this Batman. Wherever Matt Reeves, because we don't know where he's going to place this thing. Is it a prequel? Is it a continuation of Ben Affleck's story? Is he an older, younger, middle-aged Batman? We don't know where he's putting it just yet. So if we go back in time, that he even has less impetus to connect it to the overall universe, and that would be good because I think we need to fall back in love with Batman after this experiment of Zack Snyder's and Warner Brothers. As much as you may love Affleck's version of it, he took a lot of crap for it. So we want to fall back in love with the Christian Bale version or even the Michael Keaton version. Those are the ones we want to fall back in love with, and such a great character. So I think you want to focus on that. Don't rush to connect them. Even Patty Jenkins said she does not want to rush out to connect this, to do a shared universe thing overtly at this point.
Isn't it nice to just have Matt Reeves quotes, though, about this
movie?
Like, that's what I was thinking, is because we're just you see little bits and pieces, that maybe they're leaning towards this, or insiders say that. This is from Matt Reeves' mouth. Like, Matt Reeves, right now, the guy who made the Apes movies, is actually home or at a Starbucks, and he's typing up stuff, and it's about Batman. It's about a new Batman movie that comes out maybe the 2021 springtime. So I'm just excited about that news. It's nice to have an interview from the guy who's going to be creating it. Now, again, there's so many question marks, so many more questions than answers, but I feel like right now, I'm not going to say the tide has turned on this movie, but it's nice to start to feel a little momentum going forward. What's the next peg to drop? Do you think that we need to get a Batman casting?
Yes, just answer that question. Just drop the peg of, is Affleck coming back or not? Right. You don't even have to say who will be playing him if he's not, but just answer that question. I feel like I've been writing about this since I graduated college. How are we still talking about this?
Yeah, this has quickly become a is Fox going to be acquired by Disney situation. Rocha, do you think that that's the next play, or do you tease other story elements? Do you settle on a release date, a title? What's the next move?
I think this is enough to handle the story situation. It puts a lot of fans back in the camp that Matt Reeves is the right guy going forward. I think that he made an allusion to casting happening soon. So I think that's the next peg. It has to be, so that now we can start the ramp up process of getting excited, getting focused on it. All of us that work for the site here, we want to start, kind of creating pieces around the possibilities of it. So that's what you got to do. And yes, what Haleigh said is absolutely right. In or out, just make a decision already. We're all sick of it. I'm sure Ben is crazy sick of it as well. Break up already so everybody can move on, heal, and go on to their next projects or people.
Oh, we are going to go on to our next project. I just got to make sure one people is not still in the... All right, Josh isn't here anymore. Bad Boys 3 started filming, and they proved the point with an Instagram post that got everybody, including Joshua Hercules Makuga, very excited. It's Will Smith. It's Martin Lawrence. They're back in action as the Bad Boys. And coupled with that news was another movie that's going to be seen sooner than the 2020 summertime release date of Bad Boys 3, and that is Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw coming out this summer. They teased that a trailer is going to be dropping tomorrow. So naturally, I see these two high testosterone injected projects where you get the Bad Boys coming back, get Hobbs and Shaw, the spin-off in the Fast and Furious world. John Rocha, I go to you first. I rely on you. And yes, I'm going to make this competitive.
Oh, damn it.
Which project, if I put you in the multiplex today, are you walking into? You going back to visit your Bad Boy friends? Or are you going into Hobbs and Shaw?
Look, I see the Bad Boys territory to Josh McCook. As much as I love the first movie, I did not like the second movie. Hobbs and Shaw, that's my jam like nobody's business. I am walking into that. I love The Rock. Everybody knows I love The Rock. My Twitter is @TheRocha in honor of The Rock, which The Rock says was his favorite catchphrase. So to me, plus Jason Statham and the cast, Vanessa Kirby, all these people coming into this cast is exciting. And then Idris Elba, Luther himself being the villain. That is so exciting overall. So, and that promo was great. The Rock being like, let's get this on. And he does not look like he's going to be this FBI agent that he is, or the task force agent. And you get the shots from him down in Samoa, what he's doing there. So this is going to be an expansive film. It's not just going to be a spin-off that's a singular story. It's a spin-off that's a little more expansive. So that excites me overall. Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys for Life is going to have to work a little harder to get my attention. Although I like the way they did a little boomerang using a little Papa Diddy Pop or P. Diddy song there for Bad Boys 5. I like that. So I give it credit for that, but Hobbs and Shaw is my choice.
And I give credit to Rocha, Haleigh, because if there's a mass crowd outside of this imaginary multiplex where I've placed you guys, Rocha did a pretty good job of carnival barking a lot of people into Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Are you trying to steer folks into Bad Boys 3 with you?
No, I'm definitely Fast Family for life. Like I'm in. I can't wait. I love that this seems like a little personal to Dwayne Johnson, almost like in bringing in Samoa and his culture like that. And he sort of teased in an interview, I think it was yesterday, that Idris Elba is essentially going to be like bringing an army to Samoa, and he'll be defending that apparently with his muscles. But I can't wait. I'm so in. I like Bad Boys, and I actually really like Bad Boys too. But yeah, you just can't compete.
I just want to see that actual line written in a script somewhere. I'm going to defend this place with my muscles. I think it's such a tough call for me because I am a Bad Boys fan. I also think Hobbs and Shaw, it's the most excited I've been to see a Fast and Furious movie, maybe ever, because Fast 5 was great, but I wasn't excited walking into that movie. It got me excited leaving. And then Fast 6, I was pretty pumped for it. I think Hobbs and Shaw might be my most anticipated. Maybe Idris Elba being the villain is the reason why it's over the top now, but I am such a Martin Lawrence fan. Yeah, I am a Martin Lawrence enthusiast. I celebrate his entire catalog because I go back. That's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time was Martin. I think it's a highly underrated 90s show. I think it's up there, maybe not quite as good as Seinfeld, but it gives it a good run for its money. And then Will Smith, an all-time box office icon, an A-lister through and through. Seeing them team back up again. I think I'm ditching y'all, and I think I'm going into Bad Boys for life. But the good news is we don't have to make a judgment call. We just get to see both these movies because one of them comes out this summer, the next one comes out the next summer, and we're going to be excited to talk about all this stuff whenever we get a Bad Boys trailer. We know we're getting the Hobbs and Shaw trailer tomorrow. Any surprises you think we could be seeing in that one, or do you think they save them for the movie? Because, you know, this is not just going to be a one-off. You know, there's going to be some other big star that they're going to pop into the end of this movie, or maybe during the middle somewhere. What do you think?
Geez, I don't know. Rock already teased that his cousin, Roman Reigns, who's a current professional WWE wrestler who is taking a break because of his leukemia, is in the movie. So that's an awesome surprise to know that he's in the movie. I don't know who we might see, but we got to see somebody. But I'm not sure who would stand out. Maybe Ludacris. Maybe Ludacris will jump up in there somewhere.
Is it going to be anybody else from that team?
Or
We know who it's not going to be.
Right, it ain't
going to be a guy named Vin.
It ain't going to be Vin. What about what's his face? What about Kurt Russell? Maybe Kurt Russell is possible. No,
I love her.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know who's going to shock the world and show.
Haleigh, who would you like to see from other Fast and Furious films, your family's films, would you like to see pop into Hobbs and Shaw in a significant role?
I think that Ludacris is actually a really good call. He always brings a nice energy. There doesn't seem to be any behind-the-scenes drama. And he's just fun. Like, he steals a lot of those movies, which you wouldn't expect with a cast of that caliber. I am torn, though, if we'll actually see that kind of crossover, because I do think that Dwayne Johnson wants this to be like, yes, it's Fast and Furious Presents, but it's also, this is our franchise now. Like, he just said also, I think in that same interview I referenced, that he's not going to be in Fast and Furious 9.
Right.
He was like, of course, like, yeah, maybe in the future, we'll see what happens, but not right now.
I can't take any of them at their word when they talk about whether they're going to or not going to pop into a movie. Like, I don't think you're going to see Vin Diesel and Hobbs and Shaw. I can't say the same for The Rock popping into the next Fast and Furious movie. I have a feeling you can't keep him away. Well, you need him.
I said this when I wrote it up yesterday. I think that if Hobbs and Shaw goes on to be like far and away some kind of exceptional box office winner for this franchise beyond even the already amazing numbers they get, they might talk him into a little cameo.
Do you believe this now, that the beef between The Rock and Vin Diesel? Because I remember months ago when we talked about it, and I know you don't believe we landed on the moon, but do you believe in this beef?
Don't put conspiracy theories into my mouth.
I feel like it's about
There's
the
enough
same.
conspiracy theories I believe are real.
Okay.
The moon, I'm pretty sure we made it.
Pretty sure that's what I'm getting at. But you think?
Pretty sure we made
it. Do you think the rival? Do you think this is real between them? Because The Rock takes shots at Vin all the time.
I think there might be something to it.
Okay.
But
All right.
Look, I was wrong. I thought the Earth was round until Kyrie Irving steered me in a different direction. So, I want to remind you guys that we are going to save some time for your live Twitter questions. Way at the end of this show, you can tweet us anytime. Use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk. Tweet us at Collider Video. Speaking of Collider Video, we have a lot of exciting stuff going on around the studio, but also outside the studio at a movie theater near you at the IMAX headquarters in Playa Vista. It's a very nice, warm location. Sorry, Midwest. So I know you guys are going through hell right now. Come on out to Playa Vista, Playa del Rey. It's a Playa. It's Playa. That's where they're going to be screening an exclusive Collider-hosted screening of the Lego Movie 2. That is Monday, February 4th. At 7 p.m. out here in the PT. So if you're going to be in the Southern California area, and Lord knows a lot of people would like to be here, at least for this weekend, come on out and go to Collider.com and see if we can get you into that screening. There's more details, like I said, on that post at Collider.com. See what else we get to tease here. Oh, yeah, Collider Live, moving to 5 days a week, starting next week. The little show that could, the morning show that hosted by Christian Harloff and a gaggle of humans and fish. You guys can check that out 5 days a week now. It's going to be Monday through Thursday, the 2-hour show. Then they're going to do a 1-hour version every Friday, so a whole lot more Collider Live for everybody to enjoy. And yes, I'm reading this all from a phone because I didn't charge my computer before we started. That's just how damn good I am at hosting this show. I can do it from an iPhone. Our next exclusive is one broken by somebody actually here in the studio. That's Jeff Snyder, and that's Zendaya has been cast. Zendaya, damn it. Zendaya has
you almost did it.
In Dune.
You almost
She's going to be playing the chummy love interest to Timothée Chalamet. Her name, I believe, is Chani in the Dune franchise. This is the latest casting announcement. We've gotten a bevy of them recently for Dune. Seems like all signs are pointing to this thing not only being a big production, but being a star-studded cast. She's a major talent on the up and up, John Rocha. So what does this mean for you as a big fan of the Dune property?
This is a nice casting decision. Zendaya has been, she's doing it right. She's building a career slowly but surely. I like that song she released. That's how I first got to know who she was, because I don't watch any of those Disney shows. But that song was really good that she released that I enjoyed.
The tune.
I heard the tune. I was into it, and then I saw her in Spider-Man Homecoming. Then I loved her in Greatest Showman, and so to see her appearing here in Dune. And by the way, Chani is not a big role if they're going to adhere to the novel in this particular version. So it will be a tease for if this version kicks off well, this particular one, into the next movie, the next chapter in this story, she becomes a way bigger part of that. So you want to kind of sign her for this, put her in the motion, and then you can bring her in for a bigger role later on the road. That makes a lot of sense to me. And, like I said, I'm reiterating, she's doing it right, step by step, piece by piece, building credibility as an actress, taking on these big properties, these franchises, finding success in them. And now we'll see what's next for her in this career. And shout out to you. It's Playa Zendaya, not Playa Zendaya.
No, it's
so
Playa.
there we go. Yeah,
It's Playa del.
It ain't Playa del Rey, son.
You ever been there?
Yeah, I've been
You
there.
moved there. It's Playa del Rey.
Okay, all right.
Trust me. You're at a bar. You're talking to somebody. You want to come back to my
Playa.
place? It's in Playa del Rey. It's a good line to have. Now, Haleigh, as we try to clean up the show here by going to you, there's a number of novels
Foolish.
that have been written in the Dune franchise. You bought a lot of them. You never read any of them.
Right.
Does the Zendaya casting do anything for your interest for the movie Dune?
I really like her, so I think that seeing her in any kind of really good project like this would get me excited. I like what you said, Rocha, about how she's been building her career. And this is, even if it is a smaller role, it's a nice next step because we haven't really seen her in something that's sort of this serious and dramatic. She's done more showmanship type roles because she's very good at that. But I have so much respect for the way she manages her career, and she built herself a huge presence online. She has been doing this. I also obviously didn't watch the Disney shows, but after Homecoming, I was like, who is this girl? She's amazing. And I went back and looked through her whole Instagram feed, and she's just been nailing it since she was a kid with self-marketing and management, which I think is insane and wonderful. And I think that in that regard, it's a nice match, her and Timothée Chalamet, another young actor who's been doing a great job for a shorter time, but managing his career very specifically.
Yeah, and I think Zendaya can just come into this project and just enjoy yourself because none of this is on your shoulders. Because this movie, as exciting as it may be for fans of Dune and people who love Denis Villeneuve, I consider myself amongst their ranks and what a great cast it is, there is financial risk involved with this movie. This is a big scope project. It's going to cost a pretty penny to pull off, and if his last project is any indication, Denis Villeneuve, it may not translate into box office returns like what happened with Blade Runner 2049. Critically acclaimed movie, just didn't hit at the box office. None of that is going to come back to hurt Zendaya.
Right.
Zendaya.
That's my concern with this. Look, I love Denis. He hasn't made a bad movie, and in my opinion. But Blade Runner 2049 is a cautionary tale. Dune didn't do that well. The original 80s one in the box office. Are we sure that this is going to do well? He's got an incredible cast here of incredibly talented people with multiple awards to their names. The idea is there buzz for people to go see this movie in mass to legitimize the budget and legitimize these actors being a part of it? And that's what I wonder about what's going to happen here. Because, Haleigh's had the book for 30 years and has never read it. And so, people, I'm saying that tells you there's no impetus from a lot of people to read this older sci-fi novel. So I wonder if enough people are in that. Because, Blade Runner was a kind of a niche property that people loved, like me, loved it to pieces. So the sequel, that was great to see a sequel so many years later, but obviously the market wasn't there for so many people to come back.
You could have an argument either way, Haleigh, where you could say Blade Runner or Dune were the more known property, and I listened to either one of them, but I think that they're swimming in the same pool as far as popularity goes.
Yes.
So there should be some hesitation on the studio's part to just give a crap ton of money to Denis to make another movie like Blade Runner.
You would think, but no. I think that the first step is not making it 3 hours. Not making a 3-hour R-rated heavy drama. That's going to drive a ton of people away from your movie, as it clearly did. So make it a little more accessible. Or if you don't care about making money, do whatever you want, Denis. I love your movies.
I'm excited to see the movie, regardless. Now, does this casting, the fact this movie's happening, get you, as somebody who has the book on their shelf?
Yeah.
Or do you feel inspired to read, to get in between those pages? And
actually, this stuff makes me more sad that I didn't read it, because now I'm going to picture these people and I've been robbed of my brain story. So maybe I'll just never read it.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, you have a spoiler sitting right there on your shelf, and you get rid of that thing. Right. You don't want to know what happens in the movie, right, Rocha?
Yeah, sure. They cut to me for some reason. Yeah.
You can't not be on camera.
What did I say? I didn't say anything.
It's been my theory all along is that Rocha has a little button right under his thing where it's like, you know what? I haven't been on camera in a minute. Just let me.
I just buzz at him. Okay.
Hey, you know what? You like being on camera, and it's good because you're great on camera.
Thank you.
Look forward to doing sports time with you tomorrow.
Come on, we're going to do a Super Bowl preview.
It's going to be a whole lot of. Okay, back to me. I'm
Okay,
the host
sorry.
of the show. So now we move to Harry's All Night Hamburgers. Yeah, that's our last story. Then we take your Twitter questions. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Harry's All Night Hamburgers has been greenlit. It's got a director now, Ted Melfi. He's the guy behind Hidden Figures. This movie is about a high school kid who's down on his luck, as so much of us were, and he's got this hangout called Harry's, and they serve burgers, as the title indicates. But it's not a normal hangout. Far from it. This diner is actually a hangout for people traveling from parallel universes. So this kid, against Harry's suggestion, says, you know what? I'm going to throw all my luck into the multiverse and see where I can go on this magical time-traveling adventure. Boy, that's a mouthful. The tone is described as somewhat of Back to the Future and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so that's going to make myself and Ken Knapsack very happy together. I'm excited about this movie. It seems like it could be something fun. I like what Ted Melfi did with Hidden Figures, so that's packing a whole lot into one movie. It was a feel-good story. This could be another one, albeit not quite as much based on a true story. Haleigh, are you in? You want to go with me to Harry's All Night Hamburgers?
Absolutely. I love everything about this. I haven't read it, but this is something that I would go home and read right now because it's a short story.
Probably big type with pictures and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Tone it down. No,
I can barely read a menu at Harry's, so you're beating
all
me.
right. Mr. Words with Friends, don't even try me.
I'm great at words with when I want to use my very special set of skills. I can. Rocha, Haleigh, I'm around if you want to challenge me.
Let's do it.
All right. I do love multiverse stories. I love time travel stuff. This sounds very exciting, and I think that he proved himself to be very good at making a crowd-pleasing film, which this sounds like the right kind of material for that. So I'm pretty much all aboard, knowing very little about it, admittedly. I like all the basic details.
Yeah, Rocha, the basic details, you got the time-traveling adventure in there. You have a fun diner kind of hangout. It's about high schoolers, so you get Back to the Future homecoming vibes from that. And you also have a title that I think could at least arouse curiosity if you're walking by and you see the poster for what the hell is this time-traveling hamburger movie about?
Yeah, and I had 35 minutes. I found over my lunch, I found an audio book of it and listened to it while I was at lunch over at the Pizza
Dear
Rev.
God, you ever just take a break?
No, I don't.
What are you doing?
You want to be successful in this life, Mark? There are no such thing as breaks. But I listened to it while I was eating the pizza, and it was an enjoyable story. So I want to see what they do with Lawrence Watt Evans' short story and how they can branch it out and turn it into a feature film. Because they mentioned Hitchhiker's Guide, which is the Douglas Adams book is incredible. The movie's okay. Combine it with Back to the Future is nice, but it's got a Men in Black vibe as well. They're going to go in multiple dimensions. And I read an interview with Lawrence Watt Evans, and he talked about how he came up with this on a trip and on a walk when his wife's car broke down. He walked to a mall. He came up with it in his head, walking to a mall for 3/4 of a mile and walking back, and what would happen, and then wanted to pursue the idea of how you can jump dimensions with time being different in each dimension, how that would affect you going forward. So in my mind, that threw some Interstellar vibes into my brain. 'Cause remember when they go to the surface back up to, so all of that is very interesting to explore. And he's a funny read. If you find any interviews with him, he's very funny when he talks about this novel, because it was written, or a short story, it was written in the 80s, and he inspired to write it as well when he was taking this trip through West Virginia. He actually stopped at this place in Sutton, West Virginia, and it gave him the idea for this thing. So I like this overall. It's an interesting choice by Melfi to go from Hidden Figures to something like this. Still space related, but it's an interesting choice to make such a turn. And I wonder how this is all going to turn out.
If I put you all at this diner, you guys going in the multiverse? You taking your life in your own hands, or are you just going to stay pat with your current life? I mean, it's scary out there. The multiverse.
Yeah.
We saw what happened with, Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. It's a scary trip to take.
But fun. So, yes,
Yeah.
I think you have to, right?
You have to.
You only live
How
once.
do you not?
Yeah.
A lot of peer pressure going on
I'm
right
saying,
now.
if you can stumble into Nicolas Cage as Spider-Man Noir, then why not? Anything could happen.
You know what? You just won over a lot of people out there. If you're thinking about going into the multiverse, just remember you could meet Spider-Man Noir, and that's alone worth taking the trip. Well, we want to remind you guys that tomorrow on this very network, we have a stacked slate of shows. A new Riley Roundtable, actually that dropped today. We have Jedi Council coming up tomorrow, and John Rocha has a special sports time. Now, is this going to be live? Are we taping this live? When is this going up?
It's going to go up, I think, Friday morning, and it's a Super Bowl preview and the odds. Like, we're going to talk about the odds. It's me, Matt Nost, Josh Pakuga, and that man over there, Mark Ellis. You know, the Super Bowl's this weekend, so we're going to talk about it and deep dive into it and see who we think is going to take this thing, if it's going to be the Patriots or my newly discovered love for the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, newly discovered love. Maybe your disdain from the Redskins just led you to somewhere else. Well, speaking of Super Bowl, Frank Torres is kicking us off with live Twitter questions. Once again, you can tweet us anytime at Collider Video. Use the hashtag Collider Movie Talk. And Frank says, yo, Mark Ellis Live, why are you rooting for the damn Patriots? I didn't say I was rooting for them. I just said I'm feeling a weird tug towards that team, and I don't know why. It hasn't happened in this way in a long, long time, probably since the last time they were playing the Rams. Anyway, what are some of your favorite movie bloopers is what Frank really wants to know. Your favorite movie bloopers. He loves the outtakes from Rush Hour.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't have a movie one. I know this is movie talk, but forgive me. The behind the scenes for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, their gag reels are outrageously funny.
Yeah, I bet those are pretty. I've seen some of the show. I enjoy everything I've seen from it.
Love it.
If it's anything like the show, I imagine the outtakes are pretty first rate. What do you got, Rocha?
Look, I don't want to date myself, but those Cannonball Run ones are the best ones.
Those are all timers.
Those are great ones. But I will always love the liar outtakes or bloopers when Swoozie Kurtz calls Jim Carrey overactor when they're bashing each other.
That's so good.
Because you can tell it totally catches Jim off guard, and he is like, and she's like, they put me up to it. They put me up to it. Because of course they did, and it's just very funny. And so when you see something with an authentic actor, an actor at that point who's up and coming, about to blow up, and he has that like real moment where you crack him, it's really tough to crack a good comedic actor. And when you can catch him right or her right, it's fun to watch. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking about Liar Liar and Cannonball Run. The most recent example I can think of that really dug was where the Millers had a good gag reel. The best one is that there's a scene where it's Jason Sudeikis and Jennifer Aniston, and they're in the front of the RV and they're driving, and he's fiddling with the radio, and a song comes on. And it's a different song every time, and then it's the song from the Rembrandts, the Friends song comes on, and Jennifer Aniston just rolls her eyes, and everybody starts dying. So it's pretty fun. I'm sure she's heard that song one or too many times. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Anchorman has good ones too.
Does Anchorman have gag reel?
Oh yeah, they have a gag reel where they go
whole movie's a gag reel.
all the things they say to each other when they're like when those credits are rolling.
Yeah.
There's a whole extra stuff.
Right.
It's just hilarious, and they break each other up with what they come up with.
I do love a good gag reel when it's appropriate in movies. Not always appropriate at the end of a movie, but
Schindler's List.
Well, no, there's I think is it Being There? It was starring Peter Sellers.
There's a gag reel on that.
Yeah, and there's a gag reel on that because it's Peter Sellers.
Oh right.
But it doesn't really fit the movie, and Peter Sellers, he was nominated for an Oscar for that movie.
Yeah.
And, you know, a gag reel could be the difference between winning an Oscar and just being nominated. I'm telling you, you didn't want to see that at the end of that movie. But so gag reels, when appropriate, are fantastic. We could probably have a pretty good gag reel on this show. Oh wait, we're live, so you see everything. Somebody put one together.
I'm convinced Adam has one. I'm thoroughly convinced Adam has one that he giggles to sleep at night. Like he giggles off and laughs his butt off.
I think I know Adam pretty well. I think Adam doesn't think about this show. And I think when the show is
As
done,
it should be.
I think Adam and I tell each other, "Hey man, nice show," and then Adam is off about his evening. That guy's got a lot of interests. He's a Renaissance man, and I hope he doesn't go to sleep thinking about movie talk. Our next
a great answer.
Questioner from Twitter is an all-time favorite, Tendra Banerjee. He says, when do you think we will see a trailer for It Chapter 2?
Ooh.
Looking in your direction, Miss Switching Hour Haleigh Foutch.
Yeah.
Should be seeing one pretty soon, right?
You would think so. I'm not going to lie and pretend like I'm the biggest expert at when studios drop trailers. I think anyone kind of pretending to be an expert on that is half lying because it's really random.
We've had numerous people in this very office. Their names shall remain protected, but they are always so sure that this trailer or that trailer is dropping, and sometimes that doesn't happen.
I don't know. What's the next big Warner Brothers movie coming up? Maybe that.
That's a damn
I would say
Lego Movie 2.
Shazam or
probably not
drop
that.
there, yeah.
Probably not
Shazam,
that.
yeah,
Shazam
probably
would be
Shazam.
a good fit.
Yeah.
Definitely, I would think by summer at the latest.
Well, that's the nice thing is they know they don't need to market this
That's
thing.
right.
Like, I don't know that it's exactly it's not a Super Bowl trailer kind of movie, you know? Like, it wouldn't shock me to see, and I'd welcome the opportunity to have my first look at It Chapter 2 during the Super Bowl. I think you could play into that audience, but I don't think you need to. I think you need to spend that kind of money. People are going to line up to see this movie.
Yeah.
You have that litmus test from the first one doing so well. We want to see what happened to these kids as adults. We want to see the flashbacks with the kids. We want to see a creepy clown offering popcorn again. This trailer could drop at the beginning of the summer, and I think that's totally fine with both myself and the studio, Rocha.
Yeah, I agree. One of my writer friends, literally, this is a group text we were on last night, said, just saw designs for Pennywise and It Too, because apparently I have a crap ton of karma to burn off. He hates clowns. And so he's got, because, you know, like I tell you, I got some friends who are connected in certain places, and he saw it, and he's just like, it blew his mind about what's going to happen. So I think they want to wait on this. I think they don't want to drop that trailer till, let all the superhero stuff come and go, then they'll own the summer with their trailer and their hype.
I also think that if we do see something sooner than that, it's going to be a very light tease. Like the first poster they released was literally just the title.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to work that hard.
What is the best? Like, how do you follow that poster? Because that poster was so good with the balloon, and you just kind of see the clown in the back. Can you do it again? What is the teaser It poster gonna? How do you possibly top that?
I wonder if they're going to be lured in by the fact that they have a sort of star-studded cast now and have to put them more front and center than they would have with the kids, obviously. We'll see. I find that would be hard for marketing department to resist. Like, well, we need to put Jessica Chastain and James McAvoy on the poster pretty clearly. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm thinking of a refrigerator. I don't know.
All right. Moving on to our next Twitter question. The refrigerator bomb. Rocha just fridge bombed the show. Mike Gulick is next up, and boy, does he have a tough one. Get ready for this one, kids. Which is the better performance from the Disney Renaissance films of the early 90s? He gives you three options. Right. Is it James Earl Jones as Mufasa, Robin Williams as the genie, or Paige O'Hara as Belle? What's the best of those three performances? Whew. That is murderer's row right there.
That's harsh and rude.
Yeah. It's tough. Come on, Mike. What are you doing to us?
Come on. No, I think I got to go with Robin Williams because that is the one that I would quote the most, I think. And I think that says a lot. Obviously, that might mean he just got better lines. But also, I just think his performance was all over the place. He had to do so many different sides of his voice. And he's Robin Williams. You can't fight with that.
Well, also, listen, and I agree with that. I think it's Robin Williams because Mufasa is Mufasa the whole way until he passes. Spoiler. And Paige, Belle is Belle all the way through. There is a journey in terms of her falling in love with the beast, but she doesn't change fundamentally who she is as a person. With Genie, that end, when he has to do the things that he's doing, and then when Aladdin gives him his freedom, even through an animated, Robin Williams acting breaks your heart at the gift that he's given in that moment by Aladdin. When he could save himself, he saves the genie instead. And you feel that, you know? And aside from his incredibly funny, anachronistic talent throughout the whole movie, it is that he brings a certain amount of vulnerability and love to that film that really would not work without it.
Yeah, it's a good lesson, too, because if you run across a genie, you really only get two wishes. Because you're going to feel so bad. If you have any ounce of heart or pity or empathy for any other living creature, if you see a genie and you've already used your two wishes and then you haven't gotten any money yet, you're like, all right, here comes the $1 billion. And then you look at the genie, the genie's going to give you puppy dog eyes and just be like, oh, fine. There you go. Off you go. I'll still be poor with my awesome pectoral muscles. I'm gonna go with Robin. I just think it's the harder performance to pull off. They're all great, but I think I go with Robin. Good question, Mike. Okay, we'll close it out here with Joseph Medina. He says, what Batman villain should be the main one in Matt Reeves' take on the Caped Crusader? Now, we talked about some of the comic book runs that you guys were particularly fond of. Do you think he may be borrowing some mythology for his new film? So who should be the front and center in that rogues gallery of baddies?
You go.
All right, fine. Look, I would love to see Matt Reeves do the Joker. His version of the Joker would be very interesting. That being said, though, Two-Face has never gotten his just due on camera. No, don't give me Eckhart. Don't give me Tommy Lee Jones. He's never got his full just due if they follow the story of him best friends with Bruce Wayne, what happened, fighting crime, and this acid thing changes him so so distinctly and so harshly why he becomes a criminal. There's so much to explore there, and if you're going to go that route, then you bring in this like relationship ahead of time, blah blah blah. I know I hear Penguin would be nice as well, but we've seen Danny do a good job with that. I don't think anyone's done Two-Face justice fully on camera, and I think it would be nice to have a fully fleshed out story of Harvey Dent and how that all went down.
Yeah, I think I agree with Rocha, Haleigh, in terms of going away from the Joker. I know that it's different Jokers, but we're a little Jokery. We're all Jokered up. Right
We're all
now.
Jokered out.
We got Leto. We got Phoenix. Let's go somewhere else. Two-Face. I kind of like this. I don't know why I like this Penguin idea so much, but I want to see a different take on the Penguin than what DeVito did, which was great. But I want to see a different take on the Penguin.
I actually super agree with that. That's like what it would have been my answer. But I'm also kind of swayed by what you said, because I do love Two-Face in the comics, and I agree. Like, I haven't been totally won over by anything they've done yet. But I want it to be weirder. I want the Penguin. I want a weird little mean guy fucking everything up.
We just want a little weird guy who's maybe not necessarily a penguin themselves, but walking around controlling penguins.
Yeah.
One longs for the days when your biggest enemy was a bunch of wind-up exploding penguins.
Nice.
We're going to call today here on Collider Movie Talk. One more time with Rocha's single. Hit the button. There he is. That's John Rocha. Over there is Haleigh Foutch. Thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for joining us, for all your patronage, your support, your tweets. We really appreciate it. We will be back here tomorrow for our last show of the week, and then I hightail to Phoenix. Once again, you can get tickets at markellislive.com for this upcoming Friday's show, 9 p.m. in the PT. Throw it to the Y to say goodbye for all of us and Adam Smith. He's going to forget about this show.